The ships of the Star Alliance moved through space like silver fish in a dark ocean. For thousands of years, they had traveled between the stars, finding and naming new worlds. They put each planet into neat groups based on how easy it was to live there. Class 1 planets were paradise worlds. Perfect temperature, gentle gravity, sweet air, and no dangerous animals. Most of the 23 species in the Star Alliance came from such worlds. The leaders of the Alliance, known as the High Council, all grew up on these perfect planets. Class 2 and 3 worlds had small problems. Maybe the winters were too cold, or there were more storms than ideal. Class 4 worlds had real challenges, like strong gravity or thin air, but people could still live there with some help. No one talked much about Class 5 worlds. These Deathworlds were just theory to most Alliance citizens, planets so harsh that it seemed impossible for intelligent life to develop there. Heavy gravity that would crush bones, extreme temperature swings, poisonous air, dangerous radiation, aggressive predators. These worlds were avoided, marked with warning beacons, and left alone. Commander Jax floated in the observation deck of the explorer ship Horizon, watching the stars. His blue skin reflected the light from a small yellow star they were approaching. "Commander, we've completed scans of the system," said Officer Krell, her voice soft but excited. "There's something strange about the third planet." Jax turned from the window. "Strange how?" "It's alive. Very alive. But the conditions don't make sense." Jax followed Krell to the science station. The screen showed a blue-green world spinning slowly. Numbers flashed beside it. Atmospheric readings, gravity measurements, temperature ranges. "This can't be right," Jax said, tapping the screen. "Check your equipment." "We already did, 3 times," Krell replied. "The gravity is 2.3 times Alliance standard. The atmosphere contains reactive oxygen at levels we consider dangerous. Temperature swings from freezing to burning depending on location and season. There are regular powerful storms, active volcanoes, and frequent earthquakes. And you're saying there's advanced life." "Not just life, Commander. Civilization. We're picking up artificial signals, structures, energy use patterns. They've even sent primitive vessels to their moon." Jax stared at the screen, his 4 fingers tapping against his leg. "A Class 5 world with intelligent life. That's never been confirmed before." Science Officer Vren joined them, holding a data tablet. "It gets stranger, Commander. Based on our analysis, these beings haven't just survived their death world. They've been shaped by it. Their biology must be incredibly resilient." "How resilient?" Jax asked. "Their bones would need to be dense enough to support movement under crushing gravity. Their lungs would have to filter oxygen at concentrations that would poison us. Their bodies must regulate temperature across extremes that would kill most Alliance species." Vren's voice held wonder. "And their minds. To develop technology while constantly fighting their environment. They must think differently than we do." Captain Mira entered the bridge, her long robes flowing behind her. "Why have we slowed, Commander?" Jax gestured to the screen. "We found something impossible, Captain. A death world with a technological civilization." Mira's eyes widened as she reviewed the data. After a long silence, she said, "The Alliance has always believed that paradise creates progress, that comfortable worlds allow minds to develop, freed from survival pressures." She looked up at the image of Earth turning slowly on the screen. What kind of beings could evolve on a world that's constantly trying to kill them? "Should we make contact?" Jax asked. Mira considered this carefully. "Yes, but with extreme caution. If they've survived that world, they might be more dangerous than anything we've ever encountered." The Alliance ship Horizon hung in orbit around Earth, hidden behind the moon. For 3 weeks, the crew had watched and listened. They caught radio signals, television broadcasts, and internet communications. They studied human languages and learned about Earth's many countries and cultures. "They fight each other constantly," said Krell, who had been watching news broadcasts. They have weapons that could destroy their whole planet. Yet they also make beautiful music and art," added Vren, who had become fascinated by human creativity. Captain Mira called a meeting to decide what to do next. "The High Council has given us permission to make contact," she told her officers, "but they want us to approach with extreme caution." "How do we choose who to contact?" asked Jax. "They have no world government." Mira showed a map on the big screen. "We will approach a mid-sized nation with strong scientific institutions, but not the largest military power. This should reduce risks while giving us a chance to speak with their scientists." The plan was simple. Send a small shuttle down at night to a remote area, broadcast a greeting in the local language, and meet with whoever came to investigate. Officer Lin prepared the shuttle carefully. "Remember your environment suits," she warned the contact team. "Earth's gravity will crush you without support, and their air will burn your lungs." Commander Jax led the team of 4 down through Earth's atmosphere. The shuttle shook violently as it descended. "Such thick air," muttered Krell as she checked the controls. "And look at those wind speeds." They landed in an empty field surrounded by trees. The night was cool and clear with a bright moon overhead. Through the shuttle windows, Earth looked deceptively peaceful. "Environmental readings confirmed," said Vren. "Gravity at 2.3 times our standard. Oxygen at toxic levels. Air pressure that would collapse our natural bodies." The team put on their protective suits, hard shells that would support their bodies against Earth's crushing pull. The suits hissed as they created a safe bubble of air inside. "Begin broadcast," ordered Jax. The shuttle sent a simple message in 12 Earth languages. "We come in peace from beyond your world. We wish to speak with your scientists and leaders." They waited only 20 minutes before seeing lights approaching, several vehicles moving across the field toward them. "That was fast," said Krell nervously. "They're curious creatures," replied Vren. "Their broadcasts show they've been looking for alien life for decades." The vehicle stopped 100 meters away. Humans in uniforms stepped out, pointing lights and what the Alliance team recognized as weapons toward the shuttle. "Time to meet them," said Jax. He pressed the button to open the door. The team walked slowly down the ramp, their mechanical suits whirring with each step. The Earth gravity pulled at them even through the support systems. Jax raised his 4-fingered hand in what they had learned was a peaceful greeting. A human stepped forward, taller than the others, wearing a different uniform. Without any protective gear, the human stood easily in conditions that would kill an Alliance citizen in minutes. Jax was struck by how casually the human moved in this crushing gravity. "I am Commander Jax of the Star Alliance," he said through his translator. "We have traveled far to meet you." The human seemed surprised that Jax spoke their language. "I'm General Thomas," the human responded, lowering his weapon. "Welcome to Earth." What happened next shocked the Alliance team. The human removed a glove and extended a bare hand toward Jax, a greeting gesture they had seen in Earth broadcasts. "Careful," whispered Vren. "Human strength under this gravity. They could crush your suit without meaning to." Jax extended his mechanical hand carefully. When they touched, he felt the human's power even through his protective systems. This creature had evolved to function in conditions the Alliance considered a nightmare. "Your world is quite challenging," Jax said carefully. General Thomas looked confused. "It's just Earth. Nothing special about it." And in that moment, Jax understood something important. What the Alliance called a Deathworld was simply home to humans. They didn't know any different. 1 month after first contact, the Alliance had set up a small base on Earth. They chose a quiet area in the northern forests, far from big cities. Here, both humans and aliens could meet safely. Inside the base, the Alliance members stayed in special rooms where the gravity was lowered and the air was changed to match their homeworlds. When they met with humans, they wore their protective suits. The humans, however, walked around freely, needing no special equipment. Dr. Alan West was the lead human scientist assigned to the contact team. He watched with interest as Vren struggled to lift a simple metal cup. even with his suit's help. "Is our gravity really so difficult for you?" Dr. West asked. "Your normal is our nightmare," Vren explained. "On my world, I could jump 3 times my height easily. Here, I can barely stand." Dr. West nodded. "And your bones would break under our gravity without those suits." "They would collapse," said Vren, "just as your lungs would burn from the thin, pure gases we breathe." Captain Mira joined them, her suit humming with each step. "What fascinates me," she said, "is how humans have not just survived here, but thrived." Dr. West smiled. "We've had millions of years to adapt." The Alliance team had been collecting data about humans since their arrival. They tested human strength, endurance, and resistance to different conditions. The results amazed them. "Look at this," Krell said during a research meeting. She showed a video of a human child playing in a park. "This young one fell from a height that would kill one of our adults. She cried for a minute, then continued playing." "Their healing abilities are remarkable too," added Vren. "Wounds that would be fatal to us, they recover from in days or weeks." Commander Jax had been studying human history, and their mental resilience matches their physical strength. They've survived ice ages, plagues, massive wars, natural disasters, always rebuilding, always continuing. Dr. West invited the Alliance team to watch a sporting event, a competition called Marathon, where humans ran 42 kilometers without stopping. "But why?" asked Mira, watching the runners push themselves to exhaustion. "What are they running from?" "Nothing," Dr. West explained. "They do it to challenge themselves. Some humans climb frozen mountains, dive deep into oceans, or cross deserts, just because they can." The Alliance members could not understand this desire to seek out difficulty. On their worlds, comfort and safety were the highest goals. One day, an accident happened at the base. A support beam collapsed during construction of a new wing. 2 Alliance members were trapped inside their damaged suits as Earth's gravity began to crush them. Before the emergency systems could respond, Dr. West and 3 other humans lifted the massive beam with their bare hands, holding it up until the aliens could be pulled to safety. Later, in the medical center, Jax visited the rescued team members. "How did they do that?" one asked, still shocked. "That beam weighed at least 800 kilograms. They're Deathworlders," Jax said simply. "What we see as impossible, they see as Tuesday." That evening, Captain Mira called a private meeting with her senior officers. "The High Council is concerned," she told them. "Humans are stronger, more durable, and more adaptable than any species we've encountered. And now they know they're not alone in the universe." "Are they afraid of humans?" asked Krell. "Yes," Mira admitted. "But I've been thinking about something Dr. West told me. He said that Earth has thousands of different animals, plants, and environments. Humans had to become adaptable because their world never stopped changing and challenging them." "So what does that mean for us?" Jax asked. "It means," said Mira, "that we've been looking at this all wrong. We thought paradise worlds created advancement because they allowed minds to develop without stress. But what if the opposite is true? What if challenge creates strength?" The officers looked at each other, considering this new idea. Outside the window, they could see Dr. West showing a human child how to plant a tree, both of them digging easily in soil that would be like concrete to an Alliance member. "Perhaps," Mira said softly, "we have much to learn from these Deathworlders." 6 months after first contact, Earth joined the Star Alliance as a special observer. Humans began visiting Alliance stations and ships, always causing a stir wherever they went. General Pike, head of Alliance Defense Forces, called an urgent meeting on the military station Bastion. 20 top commanders gathered in the secure room. "What I'm about to show you is classified," Pike said, his gray skin looking paler than usual. He played a video on a large screen. The video showed a training exercise. 5 Alliance soldiers in full battle armor stood on one side of a room. On the other side stood a single human woman in simple clothes. "This is Officer Jones from Earth," Pike explained. She agreed to help test our standard combat systems. In the video, a voice counted down, then the exercise began. The Alliance soldiers fired stun weapons at the human. She moved with shocking speed, dodging most shots. The few hits that landed seemed to barely slow her down. She reached the first soldier in seconds, lifted him off the ground with one hand, and tossed him aside like a toy. The room fell silent as they watched Jones defeat all 5 soldiers in less than a minute, using only her natural strength and speed. "This human has no special training," Pike said when the video ended. "She's considered average by Earth standards." Commander Dax, who had been working with humans the longest, spoke up. "Humans evolved as pursuit predators. They can keep running for hours when other animals must rest. They can throw objects with deadly accuracy. Their reaction time is nearly twice as fast as ours. But the main concern is this," Pike continued. He showed charts comparing Alliance and human soldiers. "Our troops train in comfortable conditions with breaks and rest periods. Humans train by pushing their limits until they break, then pushing harder. They call it no pain, no gain." Their military history is even more concerning, added Intelligence Officer Wren. "While the Alliance has enjoyed 10,000 years of general peace, broken by small conflicts, Earth has never known true peace. Their entire history is an endless series of wars." Pike touched a button, showing images of Earth weapons. "They've developed weapons specifically to kill other humans. And they've created combat doctrines based on deception, surprise, and overwhelming force." Some commanders shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Are you suggesting humans are a threat?" asked Fleet Commander Tora. "Not currently," Pike said. "But consider this. We need special suits just to walk on their planet. They need nothing to walk on ours. Our soldiers train for hundreds of hours. Their soldiers train by running until they vomit, then running more. We evolved to avoid pain. They evolved to endure it." The meeting was interrupted when alarms blared through the station. A voice announced, "Security breach in Sector 7. All personnel on alert." Pike touched his communicator. "Report." A panicked voice replied. 3 Razak pirates broke into the station. They've taken hostages in the medical bay. The Razak were known pirates from the outer systems, large, violent creatures with thick scales and sharp claws. Even Alliance special forces approached them with caution. "Security teams are on the way," the voice continued, "but the situation is—" The communication suddenly cut off. Pike tried to reconnect but failed. 10 minutes of tense silence followed. Then his communicator beeped. "This is Dr. Wells from Earth," came a calm voice. "The situation in Medical Bay is under control. The 3 intruders have been subdued." Later, security footage revealed what happened. The 3 Razak pirates, each standing over 2 meters tall and armed with energy weapons, had indeed taken hostages. But they hadn't noticed the 2 human doctors working in the lab. When the pirates were distracted, Dr. Wells had picked up a metal tray and thrown it like a disc, knocking the weapon from one pirate's hand. His colleague, Dr. Martinez, had then tackled another pirate, using a simple arm lock to control the much larger alien. Within moments, all 3 pirates were unconscious or restrained. "They didn't even think it was special," Pike told the silent commanders after showing the footage. Dr. Wells said they just did what anyone would do. The implications hung heavy in the room. Humans didn't just survive on a death world. They were shaped by it into something the Alliance had never encountered before. The Krell were the nightmares of the Star Alliance. These insect-like beings lived on the far edge of known space. For centuries, they attacked Alliance worlds, took what they wanted, and left destruction behind. Their hard shells made them tough to hurt, and they felt no pain or fear. No one knew why the Krell hated other life forms. They rarely spoke, never made deals, and showed no mercy. The Alliance kept them away with powerful defense systems, but smaller colonies lived in constant fear of Krell raids. Now, a Krell battle group had broken through the outer defenses. They attacked 3 planets in just 2 weeks, leaving thousands dead. The Alliance Council called an emergency meeting on their central world, Harmony. Humans had been invited to send one representative, Captain Mark Wilson, a military officer with gray hair and quiet eyes, sat uncomfortably in a chair designed for lighter beings. He looked out of place among the colorful, delicate aliens. "The Krell have taken our colony on Vega 6, announced Council Leader Krell. Her thin blue fingers trembled as she showed holograms of the destruction. "Our defense fleet was destroyed. We've lost contact with 5,000 colonists." The room filled with sad murmurs. The Krell always killed everyone they found. "What are your defenses?" Captain Wilson asked. "Our ships have energy shields and plasma weapons," explained General Pike. "But Krell ships have natural armor that our weapons struggle to penetrate, and they outnumber us 4 to 1. Wilson nodded slowly. "You said they've taken Vega 6, but not destroyed it yet. Why?" "They use captured planets as bases before moving deeper into our territory," said Intelligence Officer Wren. "They'll probably attack the Deneb system next, which has 3 populated worlds." Wilson studied the star maps. "How many ships can you send to defend Deneb?" 7 cruisers, maybe 10 smaller vessels," said Pike. "Not enough to stop a Krell fleet." The aliens watched as Wilson paced around the room, thinking. Humans moved differently than Alliance species, with a controlled energy that never fully settled. "Let me contact Earth," Wilson finally said. "I need to speak with our leaders." 3 days later, 5 human ships arrived at the Harmony station. They were smaller than Alliance cruisers but looked sturdier, with thick armor plates and many weapon ports. "These are our newest combat vessels," Wilson explained to the amazed Council. "Each carries 100 Special Forces soldiers and tactical equipment designed for our gravity and atmosphere." "But the Krell ships are much larger," protested Pike, "and there are dozens of them." Wilson smiled slightly. "On Earth, we have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog." The plan was dangerous but simple. The Alliance would evacuate as many colonists as possible from the Deneb system. Meanwhile, the human ships would head to Vega 6 to deal with the Krell base. "What can 5 small ships do against a Krell stronghold?" asked Council Leader Krell. "We're not going to fight their whole army," Wilson explained. "We're going to make them sorry they ever left their homeworld." 2 weeks passed with no news. The Alliance Council feared the humans had been destroyed. Then, a communication came through from Captain Wilson. "Vega 6 is secure," he reported, his face dirty and a cut visible above his eye. "We've rescued 3,420 Alliance colonists who were being held prisoner. The Krell fleet has broken off their advance and is retreating to their territory." "How?" gasped Pike. "How did you defeat them?" Wilson's expression was grim. "We didn't have to defeat their whole army. We just had to show them what happens when you attack people from a death world." Later reports revealed the shocking truth. The humans had landed on Vega 6 at night, moving quickly through gravity and atmosphere that would kill most Alliance species. While the Krell were busy preparing for their next attack, the human soldiers had infiltrated their command centers and captured their leaders. The Krell thought their natural armor made them invincible, Wilson explained later. But humans evolved on a world where we had to outsmart creatures with claws, fangs, and armor. We've been fighting against the odds since before we invented fire. The Alliance Council looked at humans differently after that. These Deathworlders weren't just strong. They were survivors who turned disadvantages into victories. The Grand Exhibition Hall on Harmony Station buzzed with activity. 1 year after humans joined the Star Alliance, the first major cultural exchange was underway. Each species had an area to show their art, music, food, and way of life. The Alliance species created beautiful displays. The Trill showed delicate crystal sculptures that caught the light in amazing ways. The Volans played soft music on string instruments that could make people cry with joy. The Mirians displayed perfect gardens where every leaf and flower sat in perfect balance. Then there was the human section. "What is that terrible noise?" asked Ambassador Krell, covering his hearing organs as he approached the Earth area. "They call it rock music," explained his guide, Krell. "Humans enjoy it." The human section was crowded and messy compared to the others. Their art showed all kinds of things, beautiful landscapes, but also battles, struggles, and pain. Their music ranged from gentle to what many aliens considered just noise. Their food used strong spices that made some Alliance species sneeze. Dr. Ben Miller stood proudly by the Earth display. As head of human cultural relations, he had worked hard to show Earth's diversity. "Try this," he said to a passing group of Volans, offering small cups. "It's called hot chocolate." The delicate Volans took careful sips. Their eyes widened. "It's intense," one said, blinking rapidly. Miller laughed. "That's just the mild version." Nearby, a human chef named Rosa was teaching cooking classes. She showed aliens how to make simple Earth foods, but had to keep reminding them not to use so much force when kneading bread or cutting vegetables. "Gentle, gentle," she said as a trill accidentally crushed a tomato. "You're stronger in our lower gravity." The trill looked confused. "But you squeezed it harder before." "Yes, but I'm used to Earth gravity. Everything here feels light to me." This was a common misunderstanding. What felt normal to humans was often too much for Alliance species. A friendly pat on the back from a human could knock an alien over. A human child playing catch could throw a ball hard enough to hurt an adult Volan. In another part of the exhibition, human athletes demonstrated sports. The aliens watched in shock as humans ran, jumped, and wrestled in what seemed like violent competitions. "You do this for fun?" asked a horrified Marion after watching boxing. "It's about testing limits," explained Coach Taylor. "Pushing yourself to be better." This concept fascinated many Alliance species. On their paradise worlds, comfort was the goal. The idea of voluntarily making things harder was strange. The biggest surprise came when humans showed movies and books. Alliance stories usually focused on harmony, understanding, and peaceful solutions. Human stories were full of conflict, danger, and heroes who suffered before winning. "Why do your stories have so much struggle?" asked Senior Curator Zell during a literature discussion. Writer James Park thought about this. "Because that's life, isn't it? Nothing worth having comes easy." "But suffering is to be avoided," said Zell. "Not always," Park replied. "Sometimes suffering is the path to something better." As the exhibition continued, something unexpected happened. Many Alliance species began to spend more time in the human area. They tried the strong foods, listened to the loud music, and watched the action movies. "I don't understand," Krell said to Captain Mira as they watched a group of young trills trying to dance to human music. "Why are they drawn to these harsh things?" Mira had worked with humans longer than most. "I think paradise can become its own kind of prison," she said quietly. "These young ones have never known challenge or struggle. Humans bring something real." That night, the humans organized a party. They'd brought drinks, played music, and taught aliens to dance. Many older Alliance members stayed away, finding it too loud and chaotic. But the younger ones came. They drank sweet earth drinks that made them dizzy. They moved to music that hurt their hearing organs. They laughed at jokes they didn't fully understand. "They're embracing the Deathworld experience," Mira observed. "Just a taste of it, in a safe place." Dr. Miller stood beside her, watching an Alliance child carefully hold a small Earth turtle. "We evolved in different worlds," he said, "but maybe we need each other more than we realized. You show us peace, we show you challenge. Together, maybe we find balance." 5 years had passed since humans joined the Star Alliance. What began as cautious cooperation had grown into something neither side expected. Humans now served on Alliance ships, their strength and endurance making them perfect for dangerous jobs. Alliance technology improved human medicine and farming. Both sides learned from each other. On the 5th anniversary of First Contact, the Alliance Council held a special meeting on Earth. For the first time, the highest leaders of 23 alien species would visit the Deathworld itself. The meeting place was a mountain lodge in Switzerland. The building had two sections, one with Earth normal conditions for humans, and one adjusted to match Alliance homeworlds. Special walkways connected them, allowing everyone to move between areas safely. Council leader Krell stood at the window in her protective suit, watching snow fall on pine trees. Even through the suit's filters, Earth smelled different than any world she knew. Rich, wild, and slightly dangerous. "Beautiful, isn't it?" said Admiral Wilson, joining her. "Beautiful, but deadly," Krell replied. "How do you live with such extremes? It was 30 degrees warmer just yesterday." Wilson smiled. "That's why we're interesting. We adapt." Inside the meeting hall, representatives from all worlds gathered. The main topic was a new threat. Strange signals from beyond known space suggested an unknown civilization was approaching Alliance territory. "Our long-range scouts detected their ships here." General Pike pointed to a star map. "They're like nothing we've seen before. Massive ships moving in perfect formation." "Have they responded to communication attempts?" asked the Volan ambassador. "No," Pike said. "They ignore all signals." The room grew quiet. The Alliance had faced enemies before, but always species they understood. This unknown force worried everyone. "We should prepare our defense fleets," suggested one leader. "Perhaps we should try to avoid contact," said another. "Hide our outer colonies." Admiral Wilson listened, then stood up. All eyes turned to the human. "In Earth's history," he said, "we've often feared what we didn't understand. Sometimes that fear was wise. Other times, it prevented friendships that could have helped us." He walked to the map. "I propose a different approach. Let's send a joint mission, humans and Alliance members together. One ship with our best diplomats and scientists. If these newcomers are peaceful, we make friends. If they're hostile, we learn about them before they reach our worlds." The council debated for hours. Many feared sending a ship toward potential danger. Others worried about putting humans and Alliance members together on one vessel for a long mission. Finally, Krell raised her hand for silence. 5 years ago, we believed Deathworlds were just stories. We thought no intelligent life could evolve in such harsh conditions. We were wrong. She gestured toward the humans in the room. These people grew strong because their world challenged them every day. They learned to solve problems because their survival depended on it. She turned to Wilson. "I support your plan, and I suggest we name this mission Project Deathworld to remind us what we've learned. That strength comes from challenge, not comfort." 3 months later, the ship Horizon Aya prepared to launch from Earth orbit. Its crew included 12 humans and representatives from 8 Alliance species. The ship itself was a marvel of joint engineering, human toughness combined with Alliance advanced technology. Captain Lisa Chen addressed her mixed crew on the bridge. "Our mission won't be easy. We don't know what's waiting for us out there. But that's nothing new for humans, and our Alliance friends are learning to face the unknown too." She looked at each crew member, the tall Trills, the delicate Volans, the floating Mirians, and her fellow humans. "They used to call Earth a death world," she said. "Now we know better. There are no death worlds, only worlds that shape their children differently. The Alliance taught us about harmony. We taught them about resilience. Together, we're stronger than either could be alone." As the engines powered up, Chen gave the order to launch. The Horizon Aya moved away from Earth, carrying with it the best of both worlds, the wisdom of paradise and the strength of adversity. Whatever waited beyond known space would face something unprecedented, a crew shaped by both comfort and challenge, peace and struggle, paradise and deathworld. Together, they were ready for anything the universe might bring.